My over 20-year-olds know that I am the law. They know it. I
Even
love
when you
them.
smile a lot.
They know. They can tell that now. They actually have a joke that, Daddy, are you now daddy or are you father? Because they know when I'm daddy, they're sweets and they're nice things. But when I'm father, now it's correction time. They must just do the right thing. So I believe those same methodologies must be applied today if we are hoping to have a future for our.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Noisemakers News. So today we have a noisemaker in the form of Mr. Thomas Achia. In fact, he's Dr. Thomas Achia, but today he actually said, no, call me Thomas, because we are going to be celebrating fathers today, and we are going to learn about Thomas, the boy who became the man, and finally the doctor. He is also a father. So we want to celebrate Father's Day in a special way in the month of June by interviewing different men of different age groups so they can celebrate their own fathers and also share a bit of advice on fatherhood. So welcome, Mr. Thomas Achia, aka Dr. Thomas Achia.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on your program. Looking forward to sharing with you today.
Yes, in case some people are wondering, what sort of a doctor is he? Is he a medical doctor? Is he a theoretical? Tell me, what sort of doctor are you? Because people these days want to know.
I am a mathematician by training, so I have a bachelor's degree in mathematics, a master's degree in mathematical statistics, and a PhD in mathematical statistics. But I work as a senior research scientist in the Dell Medical School at the University of Texas at Austin.
Who was Thomas as a boy, and your relationship with your dad at that time? What are your fondest memories of your father as a boy?
I am quite fortunate to have a great dad. My father is an engineer by training, who was fortunate to have studied his engineering degree in the United States in the early 60s. So when I meet him, I meet this gentleman who is quite polished. Coming to the US had polished him up significantly, and he had a good job, was driving a good car, and he was a sort of guy who loved time with his family, where he would come back from work in the evening and he would just say, guys, let's go for a ride. So for me, some of my fondest memories with my father are let's go for a ride. And I remember moments like that. After the ride, he would take us to, say, the beach area, and then he would carry me on his shoulders and walk around. So I often feel like I was brought up by a super dad who enjoyed time with his children and for whom the family was like the most important thing.
Okay, what sort of conversations would you guys have in your car ride with your dad? What would you guys be talking about? Do you remember?
Those days as children, we, in my family, my father, I have an older brother, but his mom passed away, so he's 10 years older than me. And then I am my mother's eldest son. And so I have another 4 siblings behind me. So we would be in this vehicle with mama, 5 of us at the back. And most often, daddy would not be speaking much, but we would be singing with mama. There would be a lot of singing, like with mama, and then daddy would always point out things. My dad loved exposing us to things. That is such and such a thing. that is a specific mountain and what it means. So because he was a pretty intelligent, learned man, he wanted his children to also be knowledgeable. He took us to the giraffe park. He took us to the animal orphanages as an attempt to ensure that we were also very, very exposed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the legacy from your dad was pretty much letting you guys learn, and he was a quiet man. It's a trait many men seem to have, the leadership in silence. What's your take on that? As you grew up, now you are a teenager. Did your dad speak to you about dating, about girls? What was that like?
Okay, interesting question. My father, I think I had a relationship with him where my father was a symbol of authority in the home. My mother was like the person with whom I would discuss some of those intricate things. In as much as my father was very exposed, he was also still very African. And so there are certain discussions within the African context that you would not expect your father to hold with you.
Okay.
So my father came to know my girlfriend after my mother was aware of her. So
Okay.
some of those deep details, it was a discussion with mother. If I
So
was
your
speaking to
mom,
my, yes,
let me just interject, because us young people, we really want to know the insides of the story. So your mom is the one who spoke to you about sex, or in the African context, you didn't even go that deep. Like, we want to know how parents in the past used to do the sex education with their children. Yeah.
yes. I don't ever remember having any such discussion with my mother or my father.
Okay.
My mother could see a young girl, if she didn't like her and I was speaking to her, my mother would make it very clear that that one I don't want. She's not the type of girl I would want. But I think the advantage we had was our family was so close knit that even when we had girlfriends, that girl, even like my current wife, was within, she would be seen in our home. And so they got to know her. But in terms of a discussion around sexuality, and I don't remember quite having those discussions with my parents. What my parents did, our house was like a small library. My father had a lot of books on encyclopedias, the Britannica. He had another set of encyclopedias, and then he had books about the the becoming of a man, or something on how to start life or relationships. So we had books, and so our house was like a small study area. So we would read those books. So in an essence, that is where we picked up some of the lessons about sexuality and life.
Okay, so they communicated via books.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm still on that one, the romantic aspect of life, how to treat ladies, and what did you learn by watching? Since clearly your father never sat down with you about those matters, what did you observe or learn from your own dad about how to handle women? Tips did you get?
Right. So I always say that some things in life are not taught, they are caught. So there are certain things that you catch by observation. My my father had picked up, despite his very African upbringing, having lived in the US for about 5 years, he had picked up certain words that he uses to date. So, to an extent that when we went to the village with my parents, I would hear the villagers saying, "The darlings have arrived." So, my father to date will call me sweetheart, he will call me darling, he'll call me honey. The same words he even uses when he's speaking to my wife. And
Ah,
so, we grew up with a father who was sweetheart, honey, how are you doing? And it's the
okay.
same kind of thing that I had with my mother, the same way he treated my mother. So a lot of the things we learned on how to treat women,
Mhm.
we learned by observation from him, how he treated my mother. He treated her in a very special way. My
Is it
mother,
that are they the opening the door generation? Tell us the details because people don't know
I,
these things. Mm,
I don't remember the opening of the door,
mm,
but I could see how he treated my mother like a queen.
mm.
Yeah. So took her out, took us for dinner, made sure she dressed well, made sure my mother was a housewife, and
Oh, so she was a
yeah,
kept wife.
she was a kept wife. And
Mm-hmm.
in fact, I think later on when I married my wife and she came to visit us the first time, she was shocked at how little we had
Mm.
because how she got married to a man who had the means.
Mm.
So my father took good care of his queen, and
Okay.
we learned a lot from him.
Okay. Yeah, you see, people out there listening to this and watching us, take notes. Hey, if you want to know how women used to be treated, we are learning. We are learning. Okay,
Yes.
so now you started the topic way ahead of me. Your mom was kept and your dad. So do you believe in the men are the providers, women are the consumers? Well, they are the home builders. Is this something you also have adopted, or now maybe things have changed? What's your take on that? Because it's a hot discussion in many
Yes.
platforms. Yeah.
I I think I've been quite privileged to my wife has taken care of my children.
Mm-hmm.
My wife hasn't, I think she's been very excited coming to America because now in America she goes out and works, but our youngest is 14, our eldest is 28.
Mm-hmm.
So my wife, for a large chunk of her life, has been my responsibility. And I think I kind of, at the back of my mind, believe that it is the responsibility of the man
Mm-hmm.
to provide for his family.
Mm-hmm.
He is the breadwinner. I know there are challenges because the economies are they're difficult economic times, and
Mm-hmm.
so many homes currently expect a woman to also go out and provide. But that leaves a gap in terms of the bringing up of the children. I
Mm-hmm.
see the value in my mother bringing us up. She was hands on.
Mm-hmm.
I spent a lot of time with my mother, and that had a great impact in my life. So if as far as possible,
Mm-hmm.
if during the key developmental stages of a child, if the woman can be there almost full time,
Mm-hmm.
I would advocate for it any day.
Okay, key developmental age. Please be specific. Which period in life do you consider the key developmental time?
A child has between the ages from birth to age about 7.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the most impressionable years of a
Mm-hmm.
child's life. The Catholics say, give us your child for 7 years and he will be a Catholic for life. Whether you see him on the pulpit as an Adventist elder, if he went to Catholic school,
Mm-hmm.
he will just be an Adventist, but in his heart, there's Catholicism embedded. So the first 7 years of a child's life, the
Mm-hmm.
role of the mother is very critical.
Mm-hmm.
I had the benefit of that. My siblings have the benefit of that. And I can see it in how my siblings grew up. So
What do you
it's
think
critical.
is the role of the father in today's home? Even
Um,
in your space growing up, what apart from providing
yes.
emotionally, what's the function of the dad?
I believe that the children develop strong, they grow up strong when they see the love of the father for their mother. There is no greater
Mm,
impact on a child's life than seeing that kind of relationship between their father and their mother. Many broken people are broken because the relationship either was not there or it was a stormy relationship between his father and his mother.
mm,
So when the Bible says men love your wives, It's important for the development of children for them to see this. And also for the boys.
Please repeat that for those in the back. Please repeat that statement in case someone missed it.
Yes, it is critical for the development of a child, for the child to see the love of his father for his mother. Nothing does justice to who he becomes like seeing that love of his mother, or of his father for his mother. If it is broken, you break the child almost for life. So I think that is a very key thing in life. And the other thing is they learn. If it's like I learned hard work from my father. My father is now 94. My father still goes to the office. He's at the office at 7 a.m. He doesn't need to work, but we learned that a man must work, a man must provide. So those are lessons that a father can give to his children by observation. Children see and they learn. Yeah.
So here, I have a lot of questions. Now you spoke about children, so I'm going to delve into it. For sons, what's the importance of the father? Because earlier on you mentioned that your dad was the authoritative silent figure in the home and he was also the provider. How important is the presence of the father in the home for the daughters and for the son? Is there a difference? You can explain that.
Yeah. I'll start by explaining my understanding of the emotional makeup of women that I have learned by observation and the emotional makeup of men. And I'll start by saying one, a typical woman has about 25,000 words a day. Your typical man has about 8 to 10,000. And so when you observe women bringing up children, they are always saying a lot of things to an extent that often the children get to a point where they say, ah, mommy's just talking. Then you really need this other voice in the family that kind of reinforces some of those things the children are feeling like mommy is saying too much. So I have learned by observation the strength of a man's voice in reinforcing lessons that the mother may be giving to the child, but the father comes and reinforces.
She increases the decibels. I mean, he increases the volume.
That depth of his voice in itself, that voice is not given for show. It's a symbol.
I thought it was just for singing.
It's a symbol of authority. You know, they say it kind of an emission of the testosterone in the genes of the man, and the children read it and they learn from it. So there is the physical presence, what he says, what he does, the authority he commands, the love. My father was a symbol of authority, but then I remember he could be lying on the sofa set and all five of us would be flying and playing all over him. So we realized that his authority did not mean he did not love us.
Okay.
He really loved us, but he always corrected, he affirmed, and one of the things, and something I used to do with my boys, we can talk about it later, is like you tell my baby, you're so beautiful, you're cute, you're beautiful. So there are certain affirmations, the words of a father that really, really build confidence. They give you this perspective that you are actually worth something. And you spoke about the daughter as well. My father only has one daughter, and she is my immediate follower. My sister grew up to be she's a strong woman. She's not married in our home, she's married elsewhere, but she still calls the shots. She will marshal all of us because of the way her father brought her up. He reinforced her self-image, made her feel important and special. And so even for any man to approach my sister, you did not just approach Susan anyhow. This was daddy's girl. So I think for a woman's self-worth, her self-image, how she stands in society.
Mm-hmm.
No one does a better job at building that image than her own father.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So did your dad speak to your sister differently than he did to you, or it was the same tone, or was there a difference in the approach?
Um, okay, this will be selfish. I feel like my father over empowered my sister at the expense of some of us.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think he did this, and they have a very close bond to an extent that growing up, many of us, when we got into teenage years,
Mm-hmm.
and most boys are quite messy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm into sports. I come home, I am untidy, I am not focused on schoolwork. But then the girls naturally are. My sister was neat,
Mm-hmm.
she was doing well in school.
Mm-hmm.
So daddy would speak very good things to her, and I would feel like he was always downplaying me,
Mm-hmm.
which for me eventually I think was positive because it gave me this desire
To
to also
prove
achieve what
yourself.
my sister and to prove a point. And I think I did. Right now, all my siblings are trying to get PhDs, they're playing catch up. But for me, it was because of what I saw in building my sister's self esteem, allowed me to desire to compete and become as good, if not better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was a weak area for my dad. I think he had a lot of love for my sister that
A
caused
soft
some of us.
spot is what they call it.
Yes, yes,
Yes, because a lot of people mention how daughters and fathers have a clique that also sons and mothers sometimes have, and the girls be like, my mom has a soft spot for my brother, or my dad has a soft spot for my sister. So I guess
that's
it's
right.
it's one of those.
It's true. I would get to the village if I went visiting,
Mm-hmm.
and my dad was in the sitting room, and I would get with my bag in the kitchen, and we would talk for hours, only to realize that I've not said hi to daddy. And then I would go and talk to daddy for 10 minutes, and I'm satisfied.
You
And
see.
daddy would feel jealous. And then I would
Uh-huh.
go back to mama. The same
Uh-huh.
thing with my sister. She would spend a long time with daddy, and mama would be jealous. So I
Mm-hmm.
think it's just a thing between daughters and their fathers.
Yes, yes. I think there's something to that. So let's talk about your faith. Um, is it something that your father taught you, or it's something you found on your own? Tell us about that. How much of an impact did your dad have on your faith?
So I was born in the early 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was born, my father was not a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
So the first 16 years of my life, I never saw my father in a church. Never.
Mm-hmm.
What the best I saw was him take us to church and drive off.
Mm-hmm.
So my father was a Seventh Day Adventist who had left the faith, so he was no longer practicing as a Seventh Day Adventist. Then my mother one day attended a burial and nobody knew how to pray.
Mm-hmm.
And that scared my mother. So she decided that since we Catholics don't know how to pray, from next week I'm going to my husband's church. And
Mm-hmm.
that is how we started going to church with mama.
Okay.
And me and my mama were baptized on the same day.
Mm-hmm.
So daddy would just come, drop us in church, and go away.
Mm-hmm.
My father becomes an Adventist when I'm probably 15. And when he becomes an Adventist, everything changes. Um, those rides I was talking about, my father now is like, guys, it's Bible study time, it's worship. So my
Mm-hmm.
father had a total about turn.
Mm-hmm.
And my father loves God to date.
Mm-hmm.
That is from round about 1985, 86. My father chose God. He became an elder. He became passionate for things of God. And he took my younger siblings to Adventist schools. I did not have the same experience. I went to these other schools. But
Mm-hmm.
when they came back from
Mm-hmm.
Adventist schools, I became very jealous of whatever values I could see in them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they would sing. I never used to sing, so I caught the vibe with
Mhm.
time. And then my father changed. Our house became a house of prayer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we always want to highlight the influence of fathers in the family. We need to explore it further. And you coming to tell us about how your dad raised you, that's interesting for us. So you finally graduate, you get your first degree. Tell us about those moments. How did your father celebrate you when you achieved milestones?
Yeah. I underplayed the fact that I was a very poor performer in school. So I have a joke I tell anytime I
Mm,
speak to people that I used to be bottom of my class
mhm,
throughout much of primary school. I think secondary school I started improving.
mhm,
And so when I finished Form 6,
mhm.
the year before going to university, I had drastically improved. So that was when I started getting A's in mathematics.
Mm, mm.
So my father
Oh, so
started
maybe
getting,
it's true that men mature later. You started finding yourself later on in high school and grasping
yes,
things more. Mm-hmm.
that's right. So for me, it was really, my father took me to a school that I thought this guy just didn't like me. I came
Mm-hmm.
from very high cost schools, private schools, and
Mm-hmm.
then he took me to this public school,
Mm-hmm.
which was really, really not our class.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that this man had issues with me. So that forced me to take studies very differently. I realized now I have to become my own man.
Mm-hmm.
So through fifth form and sixth form, it changed how I study forever. To
Mm-hmm.
date, the approach to study in fifth and sixth form really, really changed for me. And
Mm-hmm.
it is around the same time that I really started appreciating God.
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciated God from that period.
Mm-hmm.
And so I joined, I started, that's when I learned how to read music. And
Mm-hmm.
I started teaching others how to read music. And then as I read music and I'm leading these choirs, I started acquiring leadership skills.
Mm-hmm.
So I became a youth leader. My father is a head elder. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we're in the church board and we are differing with him
Mm-hmm.
respectfully. But I
Mm-hmm.
think that period of my life into university, I had developed a study ethic where like on Sabbath, I go to church. After church, I'm thinking everybody else had been studying on Sabbath
Mm-hmm.
and me have been
So
in
you want to
church.
catch up.
So I sleep early, I wake up early on Sunday morning and I study to cover up. Like
Mm-hmm.
it changed my way of doing things to date. So I have a work ethic. It is difficult to find me asleep after
Mm-hmm.
6 o'clock, even on a Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
because of that transition into university.
And your dad, how did he celebrate you? Because a lot has been said about how fathers will be pushing you to work hard, pushing you to say, how did you get celebrated? When you finally came home with your A's, when you came with your degrees, what did your father say? And what did it mean to you?
I don't quite remember the celebration. I remember like the A levels when I had an A in maths,
Mm-hmm.
I had a C in physics,
Mm-hmm.
and then I did not get a good grade in chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad had always had this dream of like father like son. So I
Mm-hmm.
fell short of 2 points to make it to engineering.
Oh
So
my
what he
God.
came was like, my son, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
So he was kind of disappointed because I didn't achieve something he had desired.
But your older
Um,
brother, 2 seconds, you also had an older brother. Had your
he,
older brother satisfied the like father, like son?
he he was a computer scientist, but he was much older, so my brain
Oh,
can't quite remember because it
what
was
it
10
was
years.
like. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
so
You
when
guys
someone
had
is
a gap.
20 and you are 10, you can't even understand the celebration and what's going on.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I don't really remember how my father, and then he studied in China.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't remember, but my father loved him. My father really loved my brother. He's always been concerned. I don't remember my father really celebrating. I remember him celebrating my sister, But
But
for
not
me,
you.
I don't remember.
Mm-mm,
And I think I was at fault because like my graduation for undergraduate was on
mm-hmm,
a Sabbath day,
mm-hmm,
and I was not going to the graduation square. My
mm-hmm,
mama even begged me like, just this once, just let's
mm-hmm,
go. I'm like, I'm not going. So we went to church, and my mama was so disappointed.
mm-hmm,
For daddy, it was not a big thing.
mm. Oh, because there are a lot of degrees in your household, so they've normalized education in your house. Yeah, it's a critical question about men being celebrated by their own dads. How did it make you feel when, okay, let's say, so we understand the undergrad one, you didn't make it, but at what point in your success journey, or when, well, by success right now, we are talking about your academic achievements. We are not coming to marriage yet. At what point did your father say, son, I'm proud of you, you have done well? Or those words have never arrived. They are still somewhere in the mail. Mm,
Yeah, so I think it's much later. It
mm,
even after my master's degree, it's my mama who came for my graduation.
mm-hmm,
For my PhD, my mama had a stroke.
mm-hmm,
So you remember my undergrad graduation was on a Sabbath. I didn't attend. For
mm-hmm,
my master's graduation, mama came, but I had a music recording somewhere. So we went for the recording first, then came. So mama was really cross. For the PhD, she was almost bedridden, and so my father couldn't travel. So they never had a chance. But then I think over time, when I moved on and I became a professor of statistics, I became president of the Kenyan Statistical Society,
mm-hmm,
the African Statistical Society, then I would hear him voice.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he would voice is like, you see,
To other
these,
people.
yeah, he would say something like, these are the blessings of his mother Susanna and his father Silfano's prayers. So
Mm-hmm,
that's his framing of it. But you could
mm-hmm.
feel the pride.
Okay.
And often when he would invite me to his church to come
Mm-hmm,
and speak, I could feel every time I was introduced because I had become a role model to many people in our church.
mm-hmm,
So I would see the pride when I was invited to speak. He would
mm-hmm,
not voice it, but you
mm-hmm.
can see it in his face.
So tell me as a man, because me as a woman, these are our touchy areas where I'm saying, how come you didn't say you, we are touched by the omission of these words? Does it
Yes.
apply to men?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
Do you wish he had
I
said something to you to affirm you and say, my son, I'm proud of you? Mm-hmm.
what I don't know is my father. I mentioned. You remember, I said my father was not a Christian for the first 15 years,
Mm-hmm.
and he was more romantic in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Darling, sweetheart. He
Mm-hmm.
had a lot of that. When he
To
became
the
a
women.
Christian, yeah, when he became a Christian, I think he became a bit more serious with life.
Mm.
And so he had office responsibilities and church responsibilities. So I don't remember him coming out. He still expressed this to his wife, and we had grown up. We were now men with beards, and
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't as expressive. But I wouldn't fault him. There is a phase in a young man's life where
Mm-hmm.
they kind of avoid their father.
Mm-hmm.
I am keeping long hair.
Mm-hmm.
My father doesn't like it. So half
Mm-hmm.
the time I feel
Oh,
like
at
he's
least you
critical.
didn't do dreadlocks.
No, that one I didn't. That one is for my children.
Mm-hmm.
But my father, we didn't, but we had long hair and
Mm-hmm.
we had trousers that were short so that our
Mm-hmm.
socks could be showing. My father didn't like it. So
Mm-hmm.
that correction kind
Mm-hmm.
of created a distance.
Mm.
And so I wouldn't entirely blame him because often I was doing something he didn't like. I had
Mm-hmm.
gone training the youth choir. I'm living with him and mama is not there. He has cooked dinner.
Mm-hmm.
I have arrived. I have eaten. I've not washed the dishes.
Mm-hmm.
So he had more criticism when I was in
Than
my
praises.
yes,
Mm,
which is part of shaping a man's life anyway.
mm, mm.
Yeah.
Okay, so that topic on its own, it will make me ask another question. Would that same formula apply today?
I'm using it. I'm currently using it.
Uh-huh. I need to interview your son because we need
I
to see
think
if the younger men today. Uh, I had a conversation with another man, and he mentioned that people today are not resilient because they are. He feels like men these days are being raised to be soft because they are being held by kids' gloves. And is that your same opinion? Like, do you think what your dad did to you built resilience in you, or you think you still need to be affirmed and have like words said to you, positive
um
words said to you? Mm.
I think what as a father needs to do both.
Mhm,
And I feel like my father my parents use scripture a lot, and the Bible has this saying that in the mind of a child there lies folly, and the
mm,
rod of punishment shall drive it away, or the
mm,
rod of correction.
mm,
So I think often my father he used correction
mm,
to help us become who we've become today.
mm,
And I look back at that point in time, I would think that this man just didn't like me. But I look back
mm,
and I really appreciate it.
mm,
We turned out right.
mhm,
If we did good things, he spoke positive, but he
mhm,
did not overdo the positive. When
mhm,
we were wrong, he corrected. My father still corrects me if I'm wrong today. He
mhm,
will call me and tell me, Thomas, this is not right. And I've
mhm,
learned to appreciate the voice of correction.
mhm,
And with I have two sets of sons at the moment. I
mhm,
have the guys above 20, and I have my 14-year-old who is now experiencing the American life.
mhm,
My over 20-year-olds know
mm.
that I am the law. They know it. I
Even
love
when you
them.
smile a lot.
They know. They can tell that now. They actually have a joke that daddy, are you now daddy or are you father? Because they know when I'm daddy, they're sweets and they're nice
Mm,
things. But when
mm,
I'm father, now
mhm,
it's correction time. They must just
mhm,
do the right thing.
mhm,
So I believe those same methodologies
mm,
must be applied today if we are
mm,
hoping to have a future for
mm,
our
mm,
sons.
mm,
Yeah.
mm.
Yeah.
Right. Let's go to another topic that I like. So now you have found the girl of your dreams. You have brought her into the family. What role does your father play in your marriage, if at all?
Wow. My my father is my wife's friend.
Mhm,
She can call him and she can talk to him. In fact, this week he called me and we talked and he says, "Hey, tell my daughter that she hasn't spoken to me in a while."
mm, mm,
So my father knows that in my parents, she has parents and she can reach out to him
mm,
and tell him when there are problems.
mhm,
So my father is in as much as he is very firm, there are
mhm,
certain very delicate issues that I think he shies away from dealing with. Like
mhm,
if there's a sensitive issue between me and my wife.
mhm,
I remember an instance where he calls me and tells me, my son, you notice that even me and your mother,
mm,
we didn't always agree. So
mhm,
please, please, my son, don't give up. Because
mhm,
my father, he knows that relationships are delicate. They have good times, they have difficult times.
mhm,
And so there are moments when my wife has reached out and says, hey, your son is problematic.
mhm,
He will reach out to me very
mhm,
fatherly. I've never had a situation where he has sat us down. Now we're sitting to correct you. But he
mhm,
will speak to me now very respectfully to
mhm,
help our relationship get along, speak to my wife respectfully. So he's still involved,
mhm.
but he's using more of, he's a friend to both me and my wife.
Oh, so now your father's role has migrated from father to consultant advisor. So yes, I think that's important to mention that as parents, there are different stages of parenting. Your parents until a certain age and a consultant at a certain age. So I think,
That's right.
as you're saying, your father now speaks to you respectfully because you
Right.
are now your own man.
Yeah. I have noticed, like I couldn't believe the first time my father calls me and tells me, my son, I
Mm,
have a problem with this piece of land
mm,
that I
mm,
bought. I don't know what to do about it. What do you think?
mm,
And I'm like, wow, this
mhm,
man can actually trust me to
mhm,
give him guidance on something.
mm,
So right now, my father depends on me a lot for wisdom.
mhm,
He has seen where he was the man chairing the family board, the
mhm,
man chairing the church board.
mhm,
But right now we are also professionals,
mm,
very exposed.
mm,
We've chaired board meetings in the corporate world.
mm.
So we have gained experience. And even our family, he
Mm.
doesn't chair the family meetings
Meetings
anymore.
anymore.
Yeah, so we have a
Who
rotational,
does
my
it? Your older
siblings.
brother?
No, my older brother doesn't. He's a bit shy. So my younger brother, my follower, chairs. He
Mm,
chairs, but he chairs very respectfully.
mhm.
Because
How
you have,
important are these family meetings, these family board meetings? As you men are the leaders of these families, how
yes,
important are these meetings and how regularly do you guys have them?
they're super important.
Mm, mm,
Right now we all have our families. My
mm,
eldest brother has his family, I have mine, my sister has hers. We have a family WhatsApp group, but we
mm,
also have a WhatsApp group for me and my siblings, and we
mm,
talk there. My father is not there, but we have an area where we engage as siblings. Once we
mhm.
have digested matters, we bring them to the
To
general
the
forum. And
mhm,
then once every quarter, we have a family meeting because as a family, we believe in a vision.
mm,
We are their cheers. We are very
mm,
proud as a
mm.
family. And so we want to leave a
Which tribe is
legacy.
this one? These proud ones.
We are,
Right. So you mentioned that you have a family board where, as a family, you have meetings, and you're saying now your father doesn't run this meeting, and he's the head of the household. Explain that and that style of leadership. Why is it important for families to meet together, and why your own father, who is your parent, is not leading these meetings? Tell me about that dynamic.
yeah. So I think it's something we've learned from the way we run church boards, from the way we run meetings in the corporate world as well,
Mm-hmm,
where you always need an inner caucus
mm-hmm,
to get things to move. So, like me and my siblings, we have a forum where we discuss things
mm-hmm,
because each one of us has his wife, and our wives also have their perspective of life. So, if we are to bring all of them into this meeting, it takes very long to get anything to move. So,
mm-hmm,
some of the things we have thrashed out there, sometimes very sensitive, we then bring them to a forum where my father is there. We have our children above the age of 16
mm-hmm,
are within that forum. And
mm-hmm,
so we discuss our visions, our
mm-hmm,
dreams, and some of the things we hope for as a family.
mm-hmm,
My father is in that forum,
mm-hmm,
and he acts as the way in a church board, I believe the pastor is like a counsel. He
mm-hmm,
gives counsel and
mm-hmm,
guidance
mm-hmm,
and gives. So my father, he is there, but we also know his voice. We know when he is now being firm about an issue. And
mm-hmm.
so we know how to tone down if I was getting too aggressive. I know
Mhm,
he has spoken there as daddy. Now I have to
uh,
tone down. But
uh-huh.
he doesn't use that power of veto
Mhm,
all the time.
mhm,
So he sits in and he listens and he hears, and sometimes something annoys him, and because I'm like his second eldest son, he will call me on the side and say, Tom, I was not very pleased with this. So he's very diplomatic about things. My younger brother currently chairs the family forum.
Okay.
And so we
So
and
it's
the leadership.
important to give the younger ones also a platform where they can learn to lead and to show that you guys, as the elder brothers or as the actual father, you can fall into in line and give them the space to grow in their leadership capacity too.
And I think it's really nice. They know. I see my brother already notices when me and my older brother are displeased with an issue, and he will speak to us respectfully because he also knows we have it is an unspoken respect for your older sibling. So it is
Okay.
there.
There's
Yeah.
a
But we are
hierarchy. Yeah.
yes, there is. But then we are also respectful. We know he's on the chair. We respect his position. And I think it has worked very well. We had dreams like building homes in our rural setting. We live in the city, but we had a vision. So all of us have built our houses. We are all on 5 acres of land. So we've built our homes. We are like, oh, daddy bought some land. We haven't pulled them together. So we come together and strategize on moving from building our homes, jointly investing, taking our children to school. So we do a number of things about the legacy we want for our family that we do
Right.
together.
How
Yeah.
important is the family name? Because, like what you are saying, you guys have a vision. You have a collective vision as the Achias. Like, is your father the driver of this vision? And like, tell me about legacy as a family and how what role the father plays in this whole Achia legacy situation.
Yeah, my father, I think what he did for us was he educated us. So education, my father did not spare resources for education. So we are a pretty well-schooled family. But my father retired when I was joining university and my siblings were very, very young. So we moved from affluence to suddenly not having resources. And so we noticed people would laugh and sneer that you guys use public transport nowadays. Oh, so that in itself ignited quite a pride in us because we knew where we came from and we want to maintain that. So it kind of, as we have a vision of avoiding that kind of embarrassment in the future. The embarrassment we underwent when my father retired and our resources dwindled and we were not as we were. So as a family, we believe that one, we are a Christian family. And so those principles are inculcated in us. We believe in education. So education is really, really important to us as a family, and we walk proud we consider it a pride to be sons and daughters of Joshua Achia. So it's something we talk about a lot. My father may not speak about it, but we as siblings, we have tried to inculcate that pride in our children. So it's something that he doesn't drive, but we as his children are driven by maintaining a family reputation.
So my question, now I'm turning the tables. I asked you earlier, did your father celebrate you for your achievements? And you in no uncertain terms, said no. You pretty much said it via other people, but he never came out publicly to say, you know what, son, I'm proud of you. So my
Yes.
question now to you is, have you ever publicly declared your pride for your father's legacy whilst he's still moving right now? Have you ever sat
Yes.
down and said, you know what, Mr. Joshua Achia, me, your son Thomas, I'm very proud of your achievements. I'm very proud to be
Yes.
called your son.
Right. I will send you with AI lately. I use AI to develop certain pictures. And so I have lots of things that I have developed, graphics, just appreciating my father. Even last week, I put something and I'll send it to you. Maybe you can combine it in what you do. A picture of my dad. My dad is very handsome. He actually looks like Denzel Washington. I'll send
Really?
you this.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Many people who saw the picture says, "Are you putting Denzel Washington with your mother?" I say, "No, this is my father."
Mm-hmm.
So he is my pride, and I talk to him about it. And even when I go, like I'm going to Kenya next month,
Mm-hmm.
when I arrive, he always invites me to speak in his church, and I speak about how he shaped my life.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes him really, really proud. I talk about it like all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and he hears it all the time.
And what does he say? How does he receive it?
He is super
He
proud.
blushes. Does he
He
blush?
does. It
He
makes him
blushes through
really,
the melanin.
he feels very proud.
Uh,
But
uh,
as I mentioned, he always attributes, like I talk about what I am. I
mm-hmm.
am because of who he is. And
Mm-hmm.
then he tells me that if my grandmother, his parents were very poor.
Mm-hmm.
My my grandmother, when she was nominated to become a deaconess, one of the women asked the question, Susanna only has one dress. What will she be wearing when she's
Mm,
going to serve in the church?
mm, mm,
They
mm,
were so poor. My father tells me that, do you imagine? I used to go to school and my shorts at the back,
mm,
they were torn. For
mm,
most of my
mm,
life, I would walk
mm,
around with torn shorts. If
mm,
my mother could see how we turned out. So
mm.
my father always, when something makes him proud, he remembers.
And you see how the way you relate to your mom, your father also relates to his mom. So
Definitely.
yes, I think if in the comment section, if you think we should interview Mr. Joshua Achia, please just put in the comment section because I think we need to bring the man himself here. And I'll ask him this almost similar questions just so we understand where he's coming from. And we are learning. We learn from different generations, different things. Like we are learning today from Mr. Thomas. Okay, so yeah, you've really come up with a lot of things that I took for granted. Because so for your father coming from poverty into affluence, you were busy saying, "Oh, he didn't praise me." For him, just you walking in shoes and clothes is a lot. So
Vision. Yes.
yes. So
Right.
now, before we close, because I think now we've pretty much seen your journey with your dad from when you're a child to now you're a man, you have your own kids. So you have grandchildren. How is your father's relationship with your kids? What is your dad like as a grandfather?
Yeah. I have not been fortunate for my children
Mm-hmm,
to have grown up around my father.
mm-hmm,
So, because I spent a long time living in South Africa, so my father was far away from my children. So they've not been very close, but I have observed because my sister,
mm-hmm,
my immediate follower, lived in the same town with my dad.
mm-hmm,
So every Sunday, her
mm-hmm,
children would be at my father's house. My youngest, my mother passed away some 4 years ago.
I'm sorry.
So after she passed away, now my last born brother lives with my father,
Mm-hmm,
with a son, and they live with my dad in the same house. And I jealously observe
mm-hmm,
that young boy
mm-hmm.
experience what it is like to be with my dad as a grandfather. My father was a good father. You can just imagine how he spoils his grandchild.
Yes.
They are together. He takes him for rides.
Mm-hmm.
He loves him. They watch TV together. My father loves watching National Geographics and the animals.
We are
So
not surprised.
so you will find him with his grandchild
Mm-hmm,
on his bed in the bedroom watching TV.
mm-hmm,
So he enjoys time with them. And then he calls my children my age mates. So in my culture, my children
mm-hmm.
become like his age mates. In fact, my mother would call my children her husbands, a term
Oh,
that
yes,
children
yes, yes. Yeah, I
dislike
think
with all their
an
hearts.
African thing. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
My true
So
husband.
Yeah, so my small husband. So I see it with my kids. My son is called Joshua, like my father.
Oh, yes, I was going to ask that. Like, did anyone name their child after you? You named your son after your dad.
Yes, I did.
Great.
So he's Joshua. My sister's son, who lives in Dallas, is also Joshua.
Mhm.
So we have several Joshuas in the family.
Ah, that's a nice way of honoring your dad.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
And they love their grandfather. They
Mhm.
speak to each other, he calls them and they talk, and they become very good friends. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. So you guys have heard it for yourselves. We are on our road to Father's Day in the month that we are just starting, June. And our first guest, Mr. You see, now I forget to say Dr. Dr. Thomas Achia has come to celebrate his own dead. We want fathers to come and tell us about their own fathers so we can celebrate Father's Day and learn lessons from fathers. So, you are a father yourself. How many sons do you have?
I have two men and one boy.
Right. So, as a father, now we are on you as a father. What would you like to say to fathers in general about the role of fatherhood in modern society? Any parting words you'd like to leave to fathers?
What I would tell any father is it is a father that makes a boy a man. Your wife will never make your men men. It is the father who models what a man is.
Mhm,
The father will showcase work ethic.
mhm,
Your father will showcase empathy.
mhm,
Your father will showcase spirituality,
mhm,
and your father will showcase excellence.
mhm,
So, for any father, the father must realize that your child is observing, your
mhm,
child is picking
mhm.
often the worst in you. So he picks up those habits from you. So you have a responsibility to pass on to the next generation some of these gems that you took from the generations that went before.
Right. So, Dr. Thomas, you mentioned that men should be strong, pass on the baton to the next generation, all the good attributes that men should do. What should be dropped from the fatherhood curriculum? What bad habits should men stop who are fathers? Please highlight the ones that are of concern to you right now.
I don't know whether there is life is generally complicated,
Mm-hmm,
and life is really like you are what you consume.
mm-hmm,
The things we consume, what goes in is most often the same thing that you bring out.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Garbage in, garbage out.
mm-hmm,
So one of the things that happens in life is many of us, once we've gotten married, you have your family, you stop growing, you stop
mm-hmm,
learning, you
mm-hmm,
stop studying.
mm-hmm,
Life is a journey that involves the growth of the mind. So
mm-hmm,
if you are able to grow your mind and
mm-hmm.
expand, because there's a book, in fact, quoting the Bible that says, "As a man thinketh, so
So
is he."
is he. Mhm,
Yeah. So I really don't have a set of do's and don'ts
mhm,
because one man might be doing one right thing and doing 10 things that are not right.
mhm,
So for me, the thing is to invest in personal development,
mhm,
learn daily how
mhm,
to build relationships with
mhm,
other people, because
mhm,
that will influence how you father.
mhm,
You will make mistakes,
mhm,
learn from them, be able to learn from your mistakes, and then avoid the mistakes you did previously. So
mhm,
I don't want to be prescriptive
mhm,
because the challenges a man has with one child are very different. My 28-year-old, the way I've brought him up is different from the 22-year-old and the 14-year-old. So
mhm,
circumstances change. But the mind that is expanded
Mm.
will be able to deal with each of the circumstances as they arise.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those are your parting shots.
Yes, they are. I will not
Yes.
tell you, hug your son every morning. Tell him you love him.
But is there a problem with that?
There's no problem. Yeah, there's no problem, but depends on your culture as well. So,
Okay. Okay.
some things that are right in America, if you did in Kenya, uh, society will frown and your child will have problems with society.
You know what? This interview will not end if we want to go down this path. Because now we're going to say, but if you do that, your children also are not growing up in Kenya. They're growing up here, and their expectations of what their parents should do are not like the ones you had because you were in a different environment. So how are you going to split yourself and fit in both settings? These children who are hybrid children, hybrid culture children, they
Yes.
always find themselves in this dilemma where they're having expectations that may not be met, or the parents are, I don't know. Like you said, rightfully, how you raised your older two may not necessarily be the same way you raise your younger two. So it's an adaptability situation, I guess.
Right. I think for me, the key thing is just become a friend to your children. I think that's the basic thing. But also be a father. In as much as you're a friend, be a
You see,
father.
you are saying all the statements that will make this interview not end, because some people are saying, I am your parent, I'm not your friend. And children are saying, no, please be our friends so we can relate. So, yeah, I guess everything in moderation. Yeah.
Yes. That's
everything in moderation and in context. Know when to apply which relationship model, when to be a friend and when to be a father.
That's right. That's right.
And you have made, you see, on Noisemakers News channel, we like making noise about things, positive noise, not negative noise. And I think you have made a lot of positive noise about your own father, about fatherhood in general. And what would you like to say to your father if he gets to watch this video? Any message you'd like to say to your father?
I would like to thank my father for the contribution he has made for me to become what I am today. He has informed my my worldview. He has informed how I treat people, and I am forever indebted to him for the things that I have become. And I use these words which African men don't know how to use. I love my father immensely. He is very dear to me.
Please say, I love you, Joshua Achia, because this is the thing. If you just say, I love you, you should be specific, targeted messaging. This is a message specifically to Joshua Achia from your son, Thomas Achia. Go ahead.
African sons don't know how to call their fathers by name. To my daddy, Joshua Wilfred Achia, I love you immensely. You are my world and I appreciate you very much.
Thank you. You see, on this channel, we are learning and unlearning. An African father here has publicly said, I love you to his own father. We are learning. Thank you for joining us. We'll have another guest soon. We are focusing on fathers in this season of our programming. So fathers who want to be interviewed or who want to honor their own fathers, this is the platform. We are making noise about fathers. And I will say, happy Father's Day in advance. Bye.
Bye-bye.